They were straight up beefing in real life. But I don't really care to read about that guy. I'm gonna be rereading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry in preparation for watching the movie. The movie's already out. It's been out for at least a week now, and I feel like everyone has seen it except for me, but I definitely didn't want to watch it without rereading. I've been wanting to reread this book anyway because my history with this, I didn't love it, but also I went back on my Goodreads to see when I read it. So I think it said that I started it 4 years ago and then I completed it 3 years ago. So I don't know how long exactly it took me to read this, and that scares me. I hope it doesn't put me in a book slump. I mean, I'm allowing myself to DNF this if it's not good and just go watch the movie because I have such high hopes for the movie. I will say though, last night I was a little bit eager. We're meant to be reading this together, but I was a little bit eager and I read just the prologue. I already annotated like the first page. Like it feels different. I feel like I could actually love it this time. I don't know what was going on the first time I read it, but I have higher hopes this time. The first time I rated it 2 stars, and I'm at least hoping to rate it like 3.5. Is that too much to ask? I feel like I'm equal parts nervous for this and hopeful. I really feel like I'm gonna like it more this time, but we'll see. Today I'm going to a silent book club. If you don't know what a silent book club is, it's basically a gathering where people come together in a venue and just read for the amount of time the silent book club lasts. They're having it at this wine bar that's also a bookstore. Usually with those, they also sell coffee and stuff. This place doesn't. It's just wine and books, which is cool, but this is a Saturday meeting from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it's just like, are we supposed to have wine that early? I'm definitely not having any. I feel like I should support the place in some way though, so maybe we'll buy a book. I always love those types of places, but I kind of just wish they sold coffee, matcha, something, teas, I don't know, something other than wine. I've decided to try this type of book club because I have such experiences with book club. Actually, I'm gonna make myself a coffee and then I'm gonna sit down and we'll talk about my experiences with book club. So basically I've been to book clubs like this before where it's an organized thing and anyone is allowed to go. I always liked them. I always thought that they were cool, but they always felt a little bit impersonal because you're kind of having to meet new people every time. Like there would be reoccurring people, but there's always new people and it's always like introductions and stuff. It's not like people you already know and you're like getting to know each meeting, if that makes sense. So those were fine, but that was always my thing with it. I actually ended up meeting a couple girls at one of those book clubs and we ended up doing our own thing. We would have like a monthly book and we would meet every month and it would be the same people every month and it was just in someone's apartment, so it definitely was more personal. And that is truly what I was excited for, but the girls that came, they just weren't as into the books as we were. And by we, I mean me and the person who was actually hosting it at our apartment. I feel like we bonded because we loved reading so much and we had so many books in common and we were like, let's follow each other on Goodreads. And she was like really into her Kindle. She was a Kindle girl. And yeah, we just bonded over books and we actually loved to read. A lot of the other girls, I think they wanted it more for the social aspect, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's like such a common thing for us to know book clubs to be like when moms come together, drink wine and gossip. Like that's like a running joke. And if that's what you want to do, cool, but I really wanted to read books and discuss. I mean, I did read all the books and I just wanted to come and discuss the book with people. And oftentimes people would show up to the meeting, oh, I didn't even read the book. And I'm just like, what are we gonna talk about then? They either didn't read the book, we couldn't agree on a book. Sometimes one girl was like, I don't do thrillers, but she would still come anyway. This isn't my apartment. I can't tell you not to come, but I just don't understand why you would want to come when the whole point is for us to discuss a book that you haven't read and a genre you don't like. I don't know. But I guess she was more with it than me because everyone else was kind of in the same like mindset. They wanted to show up and socialize, and there were always lovely refreshments, and it was always like so cute. I'm pretty sure I have some videos when I was going to this book club, like if you've been here for a long time, like really old videos. I would put clips in there. I don't know if I still have those videos up on my channel, but yeah, it was always a really cute book club. It was always set up so nicely. The refreshments were always great, and the host, she was amazing. But I think we were the only two people literally ever reading the book. And I vividly remember one time, and this was the time that I told myself, yeah, I can't do this. I don't know if I'm returning. We were sitting on the couch watching the Emmys or something. It was some kind of like award show, and the red carpet was going on, and we were sitting on the couch looking at celebrities and discussing their outfits and stuff, and like that was fun too. That's cool. Like, I don't mind hanging out. We can just hang out. Why are we calling it book club though? And why are you like, I would not read the book for like 3 weeks, and then the week of book club I'm like, all right, I'm ready, I'm so excited, let me read the book. And I like last minute read it for us to not even talk about it. I also like buy this book because I want to come prepared for book club. I always have notes. I'm like underlining stuff and like, this what I like, this what I don't like. Also, I feel like not liking a book isn't even an excuse, because I feel like I have more to say when I don't like a book. I feel like there's more discussion when we hate the book, and I just wanted to talk about the book, and they never did. They always wanted to just have their refreshments, take their pictures for their Instagram story, and talk about pop culture. And I'm just like, we can do that too, but we can talk about the book as well in book club. Anyway, the final meeting of that book club that ever happened was in a park. We decided to meet in a park because the girl who was hosting, she was also getting frustrated and fed up with the whole thing because she's like doing so much decoration. I'm telling you, like, it was always done so nicely. She's always getting the refreshments and all of that. And then like, it feels so unfulfilling, I guess. Like, I get her 100%. But the thing that truly led to this entire thing ending, because people were fine with meeting in the park, talking about the book in the park, whatever. And I feel like that was the first book that we actually all really liked, and people actually read it. Our last and final meeting, people actually read the book. But the thing that led to the book club ending is that all of the girls were beefing with each other. There were so many different little things. Like, these people are not meant to be friends. And maybe it's just for the best because, all right, I won't get into their business. It had nothing to do with the actual book club. They were just straight up beefing in real life. And I remember like being so out of the loop with this, obviously. And then the one person who I feel like I was closest to, she was the one that was hosting it, and we bonded over books. She told me everything. I'm like, what? This was all going on. Another thing I remember is that they were all like 5 and 6 years older than me, and I remember the beef just felt so high school to me. I was like, I haven't had drama like this since high school days. Like, this is crazy. And you guys are all 5 and 6 years older than me, so high school was even longer time for you guys. Why are we acting like this? But yeah, that was the end of that. They all unfollowed each other on Instagram. Anyway, yeah, that's my experience with book clubs. And I will be going back to the ones with no strings attached. I also like the fact that we just show up and like, we can read anything, and hopefully, I mean, surely I will actually just be sitting there reading. Like, reading will be the focus. Obviously, we'll talk to each other. Like, I'm sure when people see me reading this, they're gonna be like, oh my god, love the movie, love that book, or that's my least favorite Emily Henry, but whatever. I'm sure like discussions will be sparked from what people decide to bring to read and stuff like that. But I think we'll actually be reading, and I think this is going to be actually a book club for book lovers. Fingers crossed. I don't know why you would show up to an event where you're meant to sit down and read for 2 hours straight if you don't plan on doing that. But yeah, hoping for the best. The silent book club was so much fun. I met a lot of people. We talked about, everyone was talking about what they're currently reading. And as I expected, everyone was telling me how much they loved the movie People Will Meet on Vacation. And I was like, yeah, I'm just rereading it before I watch it. And I was talking about how I didn't like it at first, and everyone was like, gasp. We were also all talking about our Emily Henry rankings. It's always so interesting to like learn people's Emily Henry rankings. A lot of people actually, this one is their favorite. So I kept wondering how this one got a movie before Beach Read. And maybe I just did not know that it's a cult favorite. I feel like I also got so many good recommendations today just based off of talking to people, and they're like, oh, well, if you liked that, you would like this. And I was just like writing things down in my notes. And then obviously we did have time to sit and just read. It wasn't in silence because everyone was like off doing their thing, having their own conversations and stuff, and it was still a bookstore / wine bar at the end of the day, but I could focus fine. Like, a lot of us were just in the corner reading. And so yeah, I liked the idea of that. I liked the concept of that. Probably my best book club experience. I'm only on page 92 of this book, but I'm enjoying it way more than I did the first time. I remember originally I thought Alex Nelson was Emily Henry's like most boring male main character, and I can see why I thought that, but he's just so endearing to me now. Like, I just find him so wholesome, and how much they are different as main characters, I love it. I just love the contrast between them, and I feel like they balance each other out. I'm really happy to be reading like a classic rom-com because the books that I've been reading so far for the year, they've been kind of intense. I know Storygraph shows you like the moods of the books you've been reading, and I think the moods was saying like dark, reflective. I don't even remember. I'll put it on the screen if it still says that, but it was like all kind of darker things and nothing like happy, fun, romance, comedy, nothing like that. So glad to be reading this. I remember when I originally read this, I really hated the then and now timeline. Then and now timeline is not something that I love, but I feel like it's not bothering me that much this time around. Hopefully I continue to be okay with it. I think one thing I don't like about it is the back and forth between chapters. To me, it just like takes me out of the story. I would get into the past, and as I'm into that, it switches, and then I would get into the story of the now, and then it switches. I just feel like I wish more authors did it with like past and maybe like 10 chapters, and then the future, well, not the future, the now, like 10 chapters. Just more chapters per timeline. I feel like that would help to not like drag me out of the story, because it really does. It's so distracting to me, but so far, so good. I randomly just got some stuff. So basically, this t-shirt, the one that I really wanted was the blue one with the brown polka dots, but they just didn't have in a size that I thought was flattering on me. Something about polka dots, I love them, but I feel like most of the tops are like dressy tops and in different material, and I really loved the idea of a polka dot top that's just a cotton t-shirt. It's so cute to me, but I didn't get that because I didn't like the way that it fit. That was a really cute color combination though, brown and blue. Love that color combination. I love this color combination as well. This is like pink and like a greenish color. I like stripes as well. I just thought that this was cute, and this one was way more flattering, so I got that. It's really thick and soft, and I feel like when I buy t-shirts, I never think about the quality of them, because I'm like, it's just a t-shirt, but I think it's nice to have a better quality t-shirt. Anyway, yeah, I think maybe I could go online and try to get the polka dot one, but I thought that was cute, so I got that. I also, this is like such a random thing that I feel like I need as a person. I never have like small bowls. Like sometimes I just want to mix something in a really small bowl, or I want to heat up something in a really small bowl, and I just don't have any tiny bowls. I just always have to grab the big ones. So I got 4 small bowls. That's not very fun. And I got a candle. It smells, I'm like turning it to you as if you could smell it. But yeah, that's all I got. I didn't get any books because, well, I don't really know why. A lot of things were sticking out to me actually, but I think that's the problem. Like I couldn't decide. So I said, you get nothing. Oh my god, you guys. Harry Styles announced his new album. And I'm such a loser, right? Actually, I'm not. I was just so excited. I journaled about it. I remember someone commented on my video about resetting, and I had my journaling ecosystem in there, and they were saying that they don't know what to journal, and I was like, I feel like I journal everything, and this is what I mean. Like, even if you think what you're journaling is silly, mine's probably worse because I have like that much on Harry Styles announcing an album. I just wanted to describe what I felt in that moment. I also have a little part at the bottom here when Harry's album got announced, and I have where I was. I was at the gym on the treadmill, to be specific. What was I wearing? A pink crew neck, gray sweatpants, and white Adidas. The book that I was reading at the time, The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoss. And what was I listening to at the time? I was actually listening to Zach Bryan's new album, With Heaven on Top. And it's so funny that I was like, why does this man always have a new album out? I feel like he always has a new album or a new song out. Like, you can say what you want to say about him, and there's a lot you can say about him. But you can't call him lazy because he always has an album out. And so I was like randomly listening to that just to pass on a treadmill, and then I got the text from HSHQ where I'll stop. I also was gonna start reading my book, closed the book so fast. I was like, I'm done with this later. And for my entire hour on the treadmill, I was just talking to everyone I know about this. The timing of it, March 6th is the weekend that on Friday, that's Friday, he drops the album. And then that's the weekend that the F1 race season starts for 2026. That's also the weekend that daylight savings, is it ends or starts? I never know how to talk about daylight savings, but you get the point. The sun's gonna start setting later, and it's the time where we all get our personalities back. Like, that's gonna be the best weekend of my life. Also, I think that same week because you know book releases, you release Tuesday, I think that Tuesday before the album drops on Friday, I think there are like 3 books on my 2026 TBR that's coming out. No one called me, no one texted me. That week is going to be amazing, and I will just be consuming media. I don't want to talk. I have a new album to listen to, I have 12 new songs to listen to, I have 3 new books to read, I have a race to watch. Nobody call, nobody text. I am busy. I think the last thing I showed was me making my hyper-fixation breakfast. That is just so good, and it keeps me so full throughout the day. I don't know how good it is for me to be eating a croissant every day, but I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Anyway, throughout my day, I was randomly picking up this book. I had like other things to do. I went to the gym, I was on the treadmill for an hour, read this for a straight hour. When I got back, I like meal prepped and stuff, and just in between things I was reading this, and I didn't realize how much of this went by. Like, I only got that left, and that's not even all of it, because the back of it has a bunch of like extra content, like book club stuff and discussion questions. So I'm pretty sure I only have like 60 pages left. Read a lot without you, but I have thoughts. I really can't see what my beef with this book was. The vacation chapters are so boring, like actually painfully boring. And it's like, how are you making vacation boring? I also just feel like this book is a little bit all over the place. Like, it is past and present timeline, so they're obviously whole chapters from the past showing their previous summers, but they would still have some flashbacks in the chapters from today, and it's just like, we specifically have chapters from the past, so just leave the past there and leave the current time here. The current time was also boring. It's so funny to me that in one of the chapters he admits he's boring. One of his fears is that she is this like fun-loving person that loves to travel and be all over the place, and he's like worried that she's not gonna want to be with him because he's boring. And I'm like, you kind of are boring. But I will also say I find him very charming. It just doesn't make for a good book. Like, I love him, and that's like the perfect man in real life, the ideal man in real life. The Alex Nilsons of the world, that's the guy you marry. That's the guy you settle down with forever. But I don't really care to read about that guy. Also, a lot of this felt new to me. Like, so much of it did not feel like I was rereading anything. I think the only scene that I like truly remembered vividly was when they went on that boat with the guy, and then they ended up like hanging out with his friends after. Like, other than that, I kind of don't remember anything else, and that was like pleasant. That was a pleasant experience, because it was like reading it for the first time all over again. Although, here's what I remember, because there's this like build up to what happened in the past. Obviously with books like this, when they hadn't talked to each other for a while, I don't think I ever said what this was even about because I just assume everyone knows. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so in books like this, when they fall out and then they haven't talked in 2 years and now they're like reuniting and stuff, there's obviously this build up to figure out what happened. I just feel like the build up to what happened in Croatia, because that's where it happened, it was so like, OMG, what happened in Croatia? And then I think when we find out, I obviously will find out in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure when I did find out back then, I was just like, that's it? Like, that's not that deep. You don't not talk to your best friend for 2 years over that. Like, I don't know. I remember not liking that part at all. So I am curious to see what happened in Croatia. It probably wasn't anything that's big of a deal. It's so funny to see my old annotations because I didn't really annotate much back in the day, but clearly when I thought something, I wrote it down. Here I have an annotation that says, "What a POS," which means piece of shit, exclamation point. I was right though. I was right about that and I still agree with that. So I said I was gonna explain what this is about. It's about two friends who are obviously in love with each other and they're too afraid to like admit that to each other, and they keep going on these like summer vacation trips because Poppy, the female main character, her job is to write. She's like a travel blogger type of thing. She writes for this magazine called R&R, Rest and Relaxation. Basically, they met in college. They both went to college in Chicago, and they found out that they're both from Ohio, and he's now teaching at her old high school. So it shows all of these previous summer vacations that they had together, the good and the bad, the fun, and all the like, I guess, messy moments that they had. And it also showed the different relationships that they were in, because obviously they're just friends and they're not willing to ruin their friendship. Something happened in Croatia and they stopped talking for 2 whole years. She randomly starts texting him again. She invites him on this trip. And so yeah, now they're currently on another trip and just things aren't going right, and she's trying to make it so perfect and trying to make it one of their special trips that they're accustomed to having. But yeah, so we get the flashbacks of the trip that's currently happening and the trips from the past, and you can kind of see the contrast with them, and it builds up to them finally admitting that they like each other and whatever and whatnot. I'm gonna finish this now and then we can start the movie. Actually, I'll probably wait until it gets dark, but yeah. This book is so unbalanced because I feel like when I was just starting it, I felt so much more hopeful. I thought it was so much better than I remembered, and I thought it was really funny. And so I was like, this could potentially be 4 stars or something. And then in the middle, it got so boring. The flashback chapters, I already said this, boring. And the last quarter that I just read there, I don't even know if it's fully a quarter, but the last bit that I just read there was so good. Also, Croatia really wasn't that big of a deal. Just talk to each other. I mean, I guess miscommunication is a part of it, which is always a little bit annoying. I remember I was talking about Before We're Strangers and how I read that in college, and I thought that when I read it in college, I agreed with them and what they did, like the characters. Anyway, and then I read it last year when I'm much older. Okay, not that much. Let me just when I'm older, and I thought the miscommunication was like insane, and I think I'm having the same kind of vibe here. I mean, I didn't like this when I read this in college, but still, the miscommunication, I didn't remember it being this annoying. This is a first edition of this book, and I know that they have redone it multiple times. There's like this cover with the little Netflix badge on it. There's obviously the cover with the human beings that's playing Poppy and Alex in the movie. So like they've redone it, they've done different versions of it, newer editions, and I hope they fix this typo on page 332. I have to run through, not away. It's supposed to say I have to run through, not away. I get really annoyed by typos. I'm very lenient when it comes to a self-published author. When I say lenient, I actually don't care at all. Like, I get it. But when it comes to someone who's publishing, and I'm not blaming Emily Henry, I'm blaming the editors, the publishing people. I don't know, who's in charge of finding the typos? Why didn't you find it? Like, Berkeley Publishing Group is such a huge deal. How did you not find this typo? I just feel like books, we're reading books, I don't care what the genre is. We could always be learning from books. I think about the fact that someone whose native language isn't English, and maybe they're reading this, they could be reading any genre to like help them to learn English, and they deserve to have correct grammar, no typos. I'm not very lenient with books like this that are so popular under huge publishing groups that have typos. I just feel like it's not really acceptable. Anyway, I really loved that ending, and I really believe in their relationship. I believe in them as a couple. Sometimes you ever like read a book and you're like, they're probably gonna last like 3 years tops. But no, I feel like they're the real deal, they're forever. I mean, all those years of friendship, all those years of like knowing each other so well and just constantly needing each other, and they've been in love with each other for so long. I could see this going all the way, and they just make so much sense. I love the epilogue. So yeah, that's really heartwarming, actually believing in the relationship. I'm landing on 3 stars, which I feel like is great compared to the 2 stars that I originally gave it. A whole star up, but it still has its moments, and that's like my final thoughts on this. This is still my least favorite Emily Henry book, and that's okay. I really have high hopes for the movie. I'm so excited for it. I'm thinking maybe if I just close the blinds, it'll be, because I'm gonna use my projector, and I'm thinking if I just close the blinds, it'll be all right. But yeah, we're gonna watch that tonight, regardless whether it's right now or a little bit later. We're watching the movie tonight, and I'll let you know what I think of the movie. I already heard one thing, like one scene was not included in the movie, and that feels like, now that I've reread the book, I'm like, that's a choice. That doesn't feel like it makes any sense, but I have also realized I am not a professional, and I just have to trust the professionals. Maybe there's a reason it wasn't done, who knows. I feel like I'm so much more open to like books being turned into movies or shows. I used to be so close-minded when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I just felt like they were ruining something and they just never did it justice. And every time they would change something, that is kind of frustrating. But I also feel like there could be reasons for it. And yeah, I don't know. I keep an open mind. I absolutely loved People We Meet on Vacation, the movie. I feel like the visuals, it's just so vibrant and fun, and the people that they chose, the actors, are so good. I don't even know what her name, I think her name is Emily something. The woman that plays Poppy, she did it so well. She did it complete justice, and she is exactly what I pictured. I completely forgot that Poppy was meant to be blonde. And I remember, I think I did see them talk about this in an interview, and they were like, we thought people were gonna be mad at us because neither of us are blonde. Literally doesn't even matter. They did so well, and I just feel like they were perfect for the roles. I feel like the changes, I did already tell myself I was gonna have an open mind and not focus too much on what they changed, because I had already seen people saying that there were changes. But There were a lot. I mean, I already set myself up, like I already had the mindset that I wasn't going to make it affect my experience. So there's that, but I'm just so curious why. They change big things and little things too. Like one of the little things that I feel like shouldn't have mattered that much is that they went to college in Chicago in the book. And the only thing that's like really significant about that is that he's wearing a t-shirt from the university or whatever, and she makes a joke about that. But in the movie, it's Boston. And it's like, why does it matter what the t-shirt says? Maybe it's like a licensing thing. I literally don't know. I know nothing about how to make movies, but I'm so curious about the reasons why such small details would be changed. And the bigger ones, I'm like, I feel like filming at different locations is like the reason for the bigger ones. Honestly, I don't know, but that's the biggest thing I could say about it. There are a lot of changes, big and small. And you really gotta tell yourself, the movie's different, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have a good time anyway. Because it really is a good time. There was one big change about Sarah that's just so jarring. The things that were the same though, every time that it would happen and it's like exactly the same, literally mirroring the book, I would get so excited. It was so fun. And again, there are little things and big things that are the same in this movie and great iconic scenes stayed the same. So glad about that. One small thing was Alex hates the saxophone, and that was the same in the movie, and I thought that was really funny. There was this conversation that her dad was having with Alex, and that changed, but I thought that was really funny. There were other things that were like thrown in there that I thought was really funny. So like that I could see the purpose of. I could see it's for comedic relief, and this really was a rom-com. I thought it was actually funny. I was just smiling the entire time, giggling a little bit. Rom-coms are so back. When I heard Salt Air and the Rust on Your Door, I almost started crying. Folklore, You Will Always Be Famous. Also, there is a special cameo in the movie that I haven't seen anyone talking about. Or maybe it's because I've been avoiding everyone talking about this at all costs because I didn't want any spoilers, but I didn't see anyone talking about this cameo. I didn't see any like screenshots of it or anything. Very special. I thought that was so cute. Anyway, I loved it. I think I'm gonna rate it 4 stars on Letterboxd. Movie, 4 stars. Actually, maybe even 4.5. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna put it on the screen whatever I rate the movie, but the movie's definitely better than the book. I feel like this is gonna be one of the things in the future. I'm gonna be like, you can skip the book, just watch the movie, which is rare, I feel like. I'm about to head to the library to return a family matter. It's not long overdue because I kept renewing it. I think that means that no one's like requested it, so I think it's fine, but I literally finished this book before Christmas and it's now the 3rd week of January. So this is just horrible that I still have this. I made sure to keep renewing it though, so it's technically not late, but I gotta let it go. I just kept forgetting. Yeah, we're going to return this, and then I think I'm just gonna sit there and read some of my book, maybe browse, see what they've got, see if I want anything. I started The Nightingale, and I never mentioned this because I felt like it was a people we meet on vacation reading vlog, and this is definitely a 180. It's not the most fast-paced book, but I'm kind of finding it thrilling. Not thrilling in the way that it's like scary like a thriller, but thrilling in the way that I keep thinking the worst things are gonna happen, so I'm just like turning every page like I need to know, and I don't know, I'm on the edge of my seat trying to figure out what's going to happen to these people. And I guess it is kind of thrilling in the sense that they're trying so hard to just survive, and they're all risking their lives to try to help people. But anyway, I really like it. I picked this up so randomly because I saw a lot of other people reading it. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of those times where I was following a trend. I literally just saw so many people on Fable marked this as currently reading. I was like, all right, I'll read it too. This was on my 2025 TBR. Never got to it, and I knew that I wanted to read it sometime in like the first quarter of the year, because I for some reason had the idea that this is a book for like winter, or it would be like a really wintry read. That's not exactly the case because it spans over years of the war. So winter is described, and the winter, those were the hardest times for them, obviously, but spring is also described, so is summer. It spans over years, so it's not very specific to winter, but I'm glad I'm reading it anyway. I also wanted to pick up Kristen Hanna because after reading Frederick Backman, I remembered that one of the things they have in common is they utilize the writing technique of foreshadowing, and I love that. So yeah, that's why I'm reading this. I think maybe I could finish it today. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I'm going to like to do. Return that book, read this book, just kind of chill. I decided to pick up Table for One by Emma Gannon from the library. I kept seeing this when I was in New York in bookstores. Like, it was always at the front on the little tables. Like, they were definitely pushing this one out. I'm pretty sure it's fairly new. I think it maybe came out like the end of 2025. And I don't know, I'm intrigued by it, and I love the cover of this. I think this is like one of the newest books in my library too. I almost feel like I'm the first person to check it out. It looks so perfect, and I'm worried about being the first person to let it have some dinges and stuff like that, but I will be taking good care of this one. I finished The Nightingale, and I'm not going to talk too much about this. I feel like I'll talk more about this in like a wrap-up or something, but it was really good. It was just such a hard read. I know some people talk about like how much they cry and how much it is like sad and all of that for sure, but it's also really triggering. I feel like people don't mention that a lot. I feel like people more so mention the sadness of it all. But yeah, this was a really, really hard read. It's also, I mean, lots of Kristen Hanna's books are hard reads, and it's not really my favorite by her. I think I still like The Great Alone more than this one, but it was really good though. Yeah, I'll talk more about that in my wrap up, but I feel like I'm also still like just processing. My New Year's resolution for talking to strangers more, I feel like that's going well. I find myself interrupting people's conversations in a polite way, as polite as possible. There was this girl in the library, she was trying to choose between Big Swiss and Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I don't remember who wrote Big Swiss, but these are two books that I've read, and I politely interrupted her conversation with someone who was working there, and I told her like what she was explaining that she was going for. Big Swiss was definitely it. I was like, yeah, you should definitely read Big Swiss. And then I told her Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors is better than Cleopatra and Frankenstein, in my opinion. But yeah, it was nice to recommend those books to her, and I just feel like what she was describing, I like to think that I helped her. Based on what she was describing, Big Swiss just seemed more suited for her than Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I hope she enjoys that book. If she doesn't, she can't blame me because she'll never see me again. I also literally cannot escape everyone talking about Shane and Ilya from Heated Rivalry. Speaking of, my Goodreads, I stopped updating my want to read on Goodreads just because I'm using Fable more for that, for like lists and stuff. I have different lists with like my physical TBR, books that are on my physical TBR but I'm thinking about unhauling, books that I don't have yet but are like on my mental TBR. I made so many different lists, and so I was like, I'm not updating my want to read on Goodreads anymore whatsoever because there's so many lists on Fable, and they put Heated Rivalry on my want to read list when I didn't do that. I just got a notification when I was going to mark my book as complete, finished, and they were like, someone liked your update that you wanted to read Heated Rivalry. I'm like, I didn't put that in my want to read. Like, they are spreading the propaganda so hard, and it's like, you don't need to convince me. I'm with you. I support the propaganda. I meal prepped bulgogi kimchi fried rice a couple days ago, and I'm so excited to go eat it right now. I used to hate leftovers as a kid, but there's something about this. I swear the spices and the sauces and everything, it's just like seeping into the rice more as the days go on, and I swear it tastes better as the days go on. Every day I'm just so excited for dinner. It's kind of too early for dinner though, so maybe I'll take a walk or something. 7 p.m, new Harry Styles song. Maybe we'll listen to it together. The tour was also announced today. What a day. What a day. I was like trying to focus on my book. It was so like off balance, so many emotions, because this book was like sad, and I was also reading about some really, really hard things. And then like everyone was texting me, Harry Styles tour, which one are we going to? Which one are we going to? Where do we sign up? And it was just like exciting, but I'm also like going through it right now because of this book. Speaking of, he announced that song that's coming out tonight when I was at the gym once again, and I was wearing the exact same outfit. I was wearing my pink brunette, my gray sweatpants. I swear I washed it. It was laundry day on Sunday, and he announced that on Tuesday, and the album was announced Thursday, so I had a laundry day in between. Was wearing the same exact thing. I was in the same exact place, and I was just like, what is going on? I'm so happy that it comes out at 7 p.m. I hope the album comes out at 7 p.m. as well. It's midnight UK time. Love that for him. I love that for me actually, so I can listen to it and go to sleep at a decent time. Because when things come out, especially the full album, if it comes out at midnight, I'm probably gonna be up until 2 a.m. That's always what happens. I'm not doing it this time though. If it comes out at midnight my time, I'm just gonna wait until the morning. But I hope it comes out 7 p.m. my time. That's like perfect. A new Harry Styles song for the first time in almost 4 years. That was a healing experience. I can't believe it. Anyway, I am gonna end this video here. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more. And if you got to this point of the video, comment a palm tree for Alex and Poppy. Also, let me know down below what you think of People Who Meet on Vacation, the book, the movie. Which one do you like more? Which one do you think was better? And if you've read the book, you definitely should watch the movie. I think you would really enjoy it. If you love a good rom-com. I'll see you next week. Bye!